Parts of northwest Oklahoma have already experienced a frost or in some cases a killing freeze. The rest of the state is still waiting for that first frost that could have quite an impact on some of the plants that the cattle are grazing this fall. In particular, I'm concerned about some sorghum type plants, perhaps a milo field that had been harvested that we've turned some cattle out, or even some of the Sudan hay crosses that might still be out in the field that we have cattle grazing. You see, those light frosts can stress the plant, and the possibility of the accumulation of prussic acid can occur. Prussic acid is another way of saying hydrocyanic acid, and the cyanide portion of that is very, very deadly to cattle. What the cyanide does basically is keep the blood from being able to release oxygen to the rest of the tissues of the animal's body, and therefore it basically dies of cellular asphyxiation. If you have an animal down that's perhaps succumbed to prussic acid, one of the first symptoms you'll see is the blood is very, very bright cherry red. And that's a real good indication that prussic acid poisoning has caused that particular problem. Prussic acid will accumulate in these sorghum type plants in basically two different ways. The plant itself, just being stressed, will accumulate the prussic acid. The other way is by regrowth, a lush new regrowth after a frost. That itself can be high in prussic acid and be potentially dangerous. So what do we do about this? Well, first of all, I would suggest that if we have that light frost, that we get the animals off of any kind of sorghum type plant in the field if possible, and then wait until after a killing frost, something where we have the temperatures down in the, say, the mid-20s, that for certain will kill the plant, and then wait about a week after that really, really killing freeze before we turn the cattle back in on those kinds of pastures. Even when we do, I really would recommend that you watch the cattle closely for several hours after we turn them back in on those particular fields or pastures, just in case we happen to see some indication of some cattle acting rather differently. Their labored breathing perhaps actually go down, then we have that indication that something like that may be taking place. So watch during this fall. If we have one of those light frosts and we have cattle on those kinds of pastures, I'd be very, very cautious about that situation. And if you'd like to read more about hydrocyanic acid poisoning or prussic acid poisoning, we can go to the show links, the SunUp website show links. That's sunup.okstate.edu. Look under show links, and we've got a link there to a fact sheet. It's 2904, and it tells about prussic acid poisoning in livestock. Hey, we'll look forward to visiting with you again next week on SunUp's Cow-Calf Corner.